Restarted, and hopefully this time I don't hit a screen. Ranking music? Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, I think after the next patch, I'll do best and worst. Because then it probably won't change for a while. I don't know if the patch will make that much of a difference anyway, but the meta is also kind of not settled right now in the first place, so I don't want to, like... I don't want to make it and then things shift a lot. Right now, like, a lot of questions are still up there with Bubble. And Metro's 20XX performance today showed that midline just cannot keep the short-range guns in check right now. Yeah, after patch, I guess it'd be 9.3, I'll do best and worst again. I'll probably do it all as one video, or I'll do all of the best and all of the worst. Depends how long it is. But probably no more than 2 videos. In a mid-range meta? I don't know. I have a video next week on it. Talking about what's going on, but as of right now, midlines are not, like, out of the meta. They're fine. But I think 20XX was, like, the best example that, like, you don't need a midline. Because that comp had no midline. Actually, unless you want to count, like, 52 is kind of like a weird midline, which I guess kinda. But it's just, the short-range stuff can just go from, like, passive sharking, not moving, not playing the game, to jumping you with 1 billion kill guns in, like, 2 seconds. And, from what we saw in 20XX this weekend, the midline comp could not deal with it. Alright, everyone died really fast. Like, I'm gonna be real, it looked really bad. I think part of it is also just bubble. What the fuck? It's a little laggy. Oh, that guy's lagging, I don't want to deal with that. Okay, I might have to deal with that. I have no idea what's going on. There's... Yeah, alright. Good news is we saw more Rapid in the tournament. Hooray, Rapid! I'd argue 52 is a Slayer. I'm not saying if it's a Slayer or not, I'm saying it was like, I don't know. 52 plays like a fighting gun, but it has short-range qualities, so it's kind of awkward to classify it. Unfortunately, I think the Metro style of comp, like the pen shot slash neo splash type deal, is not good for the game. I think the roller is fine, but I don't like 52 end splash pen. We'll see. Yeah, my attorney's still up, as of the time of the stream. I don't know. I think what's gonna happen is, I'm hoping. Here's my hope. Alright, this guy's also lagging. I'm hoping Metro I'm hoping Metro's performance in 20XX will show people that, like, the style of midlines that need to be played need to be faster. And that stuff like Dooley is going to be very strong. What is the lag in this lobby? Whoever it's like hosting the room for this just does not have a stable connection like this. Like, I can't play this. 20XX was a top team league that happened over the past month. I've talked about it several times already, but the finals were today. And Metro won 4-2 over Moonlight, was running the closest thing to dive comps. And Gru fought them twice and lost 4-1 and 4-0. With Gru like doing your kind of typical like Western comp, you know, it's not squeezer, it's range, but it's like range, bucket, shot, and pencil. Very standard shit. And it didn't work. And then they scrambled to like a bunch of different comps. They tried double cooler, they tried red pen, they tried rapid dually bucket, like dive but with no sword. None of it worked. I'm just gonna wait it out. I don't know why that lobby is so laggy. Crazy Carrot, thank you for the year 1. Metro's comp was 52, shot slash, neo splash, roller, pen. They stuck it pretty much the entire time. There was like no changes. 3 of them picked the same weapon every game, and Zenith picked between 2 different weapons. And like, I think the ideas to beat them are going to be very different. Because I think the standard midline stuff, I think there's one midline pair that can win against that. That, like, is good into it, I mean. Which is Bucket Stamper. Which we also saw. Which also won. Yeah, it was a JP team. It was like a full JP team that also fought Kyo, Gray, etc. And same thing. That set was closer. Much closer. But like that comp still won by doing like double cooler with Zap Pen plus Slosher Stamper. Basically just, and hey, you have 2 super strong, fast midline guns. These are the midline guns that didn't get super hurt by the great midline purge. Just run them and enable the absolute shit out of them with double cooler. And let them kill everything. And it worked. So I will probably have to add both of those tournaments to the tourney analysis video, which is the second time I've had to adjust that script. So this one shouldn't be by as much, but I still have to pick a lane and be like, hey, we gotta add to the script again. Because more shit happened. But there's like 4 separate ideas, and right now I think a mix of dive slash short range weapons are winning right now. I think the special weapons are too strong. I think the power level of specials has gotten too high, and it is a very long-term problem. I think Zuka Whale, or sorry, not Zuka Whale, Zuka Strike and Bubble need to be nerfed. I think that should be like #1 priority in the next patch, and then probably nerf Wall 2. Basically, we have to deal with all the things that are a problem because we nerfed the midlines now. I think that's what the next patch needs to aim to do. Will they do that? Who fucking knows? Probably not. But like, that's what I think kind of needs to happen now. I think the power level the midlines in are fine, but now there's so many other things that were being kept in check by these weapons that are no longer being kept in check. That does concern me a little bit. But again, that stuff I'll mostly talk about in the actual video. patch meant a lot. Unless if you're a pencil player. If you're the pencil player, the patch meant nothing. You just keep playing your gun, the exact same thing. You just get to play it with different stuff now. But your role doesn't change, like, at all. You just get, like, a little bit less moves. I am so surprised they killed me. Do you support LGBTQ? Yes. This does not need to be a question. If someone don't, it's like a giant red flag. You should not support them. You finished Base Sunshine. Yeah. I already finished that. Eclipse is very cool. I am dead. Never mind. You think we'll see Dynamo on Flounder Heights? That's it. You'll see it on Flounder. Maybe in the next game they'll buff Dynamo's paint. Remember he's up here. Oh no, we really wanted to kill that beacon. No, I wanted to search on the blog. How do JP players enroll in NA tournaments? They sign up the same way everyone else does. There is no differences. Ow. That was a very good caster. So my whole team's dead. Okay, nice job, Octobrush. We're good! Yeah, I mean, Japan entering NA tournaments is really rare anyway. Because a lot of Japan just has, like, they don't like to deal with the latency issues from playing in Western tournaments. Plus, you have to play at, like, an ungodly hour in the morning. So it's typically pretty rare. But it does happen sometimes. Is it okay if you were to use a team name that disbanded? I mean, yeah. People do not trademark team names. So, like, no one... ain't gonna get copyright striked. You got Echoes of Wisdom? Nah, I still haven't played a Zelda game. The Area Cup winners playing in Fry Basket? Oh, so that's who they were. I didn't know it was that stacked. I knew Coup. They were like one of the best buckets. I did not know that they were like that stacked. Honestly, that's kind of impressive that Kyo's pickup almost beat them then. Like, they were up 2-0. Unfortunately, Curse of Reverse Sweep, but... like, that's still pretty damn impressive. It's cool to see that, like, genuine pickups of ours can actually keep up with some of Japan's best players. I think it's kind of a sign of how far the Western scene has come. Still doesn't really translate into doing well in their tournaments, but that's a whole nother... that's way harder than just standing up to the best players in one set at favorable hours. Hard part about winning an Area Cup is you don't just have to play against all the good JP players, you have to do it at like 3 in the fucking morning. But someone's gotta do it. Can I climb the wall? Please, game. Thank you. Nice. It's fun when Kings would play in our majors. Oh yeah, I remember that. Kings would just win like every tournament. XX is done, then we'll see another major drought. I mean, In the Zone is this Saturday. My tournament is on Sunday. And then 4v4 Sundays is back on Saturday. Next week. So, we're good for the next 2 weeks. we got plenty of tournaments for the next 2 weeks. But after that, yeah, I don't know. Arisha played with Starburst one time? Yeah. I guess this kind of reminds me, the state of, like, NA teams in general is kind of up for discussion a lot, because, like, for the past few months, there hasn't really been any. Like, think about it. There is no top team in NA or EU right now. We don't have any. FT Win is 3 people. One of which doesn't play the game, like that much. Starburst is 3 people. They barely play the game. Metro is, like, I don't even know. It's like Zenith, Atomic, Yoshell, but Zenith's on a different team, and they don't have a consistent 4th. They've been playing with Goss recently. Crush Soda is, like, I think still 3 people. They don't play actively. And then EU just has nothing. Celeste died. They didn't even get to do much in the league. They died pretty much immediately. I got followed. AR is gone. They've been gone. Volty doesn't have a team. Gray doesn't have a team. Nothing. The highest level team right now, the best, like, non-pickup, is Moonlight. That is our highest level team. And, like, Moonlight's cool. I coach him. We definitely want to get there, but right now we are not, like, able to beat the pickups of these best players. And I've definitely seen, like, a lot of discussion about it, because I think... How many, like... Type in chat. Type 1 if you remember the Ink TV League in 2023. You guys remember that? You guys remember the Ink TV League last year? Type 1 if we, like, really remember that league. If you haven't, type 2. But I think almost everyone here is going to remember that league. Because it was, like, one of the most notable tournaments. Yeah. So, I think the 20XX League, obviously the quality was not the same. It wasn't the exact same as the Ink TV League. The Ink TV League definitely had a bit more work done with it, but like both were pretty good. But the issue is the 20XX League has 3 actual teams and a shit ton of pickups. There were 2 teams that were, there were 2 pickups, I should say, that were just fan club names. Which, I'm sorry, the fan club trend needs to, like, die off for pickup names. Y'all gotta name yourself something creative. Come on. But, anyway. Like, that's been a genuine problem. Of, like, how do we, like, generate hype for a league? How do you generate hype when the people watching the league know one group of players? And no one else. So, I think 20X League is the most unfortunately timed league, because the issue is just the lack of teams. But I think there's going to be a lot of debate in general with, like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I'm out of here. So, I think there's a lot of, like, okay, we're losing check. It's kind of just hard as a viewer to build up hype. But the problem is, like, I don't see teams forming either. Because I think the problem is, a lot of these established teams of good players need to, like, take a chance on a really good FA in order to, like, reestablish themselves as a team. And right now, there's so few that, like, most top teams are willing to give a shot that nothing's really developing and people are just kind of doing pickups. FA equals free agent. Someone not on a team actively looking for a team. It's the simplest definition. And at top level, there's, like, a decent amount of FAs, but that fit the exact teams is tricky. And I think Fuzzy made a tweet about how, like, a lot of the other top teams, like, that have died, like F2 and Jackpot, Starburst, like, somewhat died. Like, when they die, the secrets to their success kind of die with them, if that makes sense. Like, they don't really talk about the stuff they do. Like, I'm kind of familiar, because I've studied all their teams in their respective eras, obviously. Like, I'm very familiar with how S2 Starburst plays. They have a very distinct playstyle, and no one else really replicated it. But it's like, the problem is when those teams die, like, all the information dies. And so it kind of just resets it. And if you're, like, not in the loop, which most people aren't, it's hard to recover it. So right now, it's just kind of all the pickups are just groups of people who commonly play with each other. Like, FT1 Starburst members kind of play with each other. You know, you got, like, Bagel, Biscuit, Pio, and they play with, like, Gray or Zera from EU. Right? Like, that's a group. Zenith, Atomic, Yoshell, plus, like, they play with Gray sometimes. Usually they play with Goss. That's a group. That's the kind of teams you'll see in tournaments. And it's just these pickups. I guess, like, here's my personal issue. Here's my take on it. I think if pickups were more spread out between those players and, like, players kind of, like, trying to rise up, I guess, like your upcoming players doing well in a tournament, I'd be fine with it. Because I think that'd be a great way to, like, really see how players who are starting to prove themselves could do in a tournament. The problem is no one does that. People just play with the same people. These are just fake teams in my eyes. Like, FT Burst is basically a team at this point. Just, like, an unofficial 5-person pickup team. And, like, that to me is what's boring. That's what I don't like. If we want to be in a pickup era and have it be interesting, the pickups need to be different. But these pickups are just the same people. Over and over and over again. And, like, I get why. Don't get me wrong. If, like, any of them are watching the stream. I understand why it's like that, because obviously you want to win whatever fucking weekly comes up and you want to do good in it. But, like, my point is it doesn't really get you anywhere. The only way you get places now is, okay, I'm gonna, like, you get a group of 4, you grind the fuck out of the game, and you get a relevant tournament result, and then people start giving you, like, start noticing you and giving you attention, and then you get to play in these higher level spheres. But I think the better way to enable this kind of thing is that people need to actually play with other people. Like, I think a good example is Len. Len is a Blaster player on Osmosis. They've had, like, 3 or 4 different tournaments where everyone's talking up how insane they're doing on V-Blaster. I have never seen him get invited to play with, like, a Kyo group. Or the Metro, or any of them. And, like, they don't have to. But I'd be curious. If you throw him in with 3 other really good players, how well would he do? Could he win a tournament? I don't know. But, like, I'd be curious to see it. Same for, like, any other player who's, like, doing well. Like, some of the bet members would be obvious ones, like Clef or Lucina. I'd like to see play with that group. Something like that. I would like to see these groups intermingle a little bit more. And see what players can do with them. That's what I think would be actually interesting. The other thing you could do to make it interesting, that I would like to see more, is comps. Because I think the second issue with this, like, fake pickup culture stuff is that everyone just plays the same shit anyway. Everyone just plays the same pencil shot double midline comp. And, like, maybe it takes Metro winning this tournament for people to realize, oh shit, yeah, maybe things are actually different now. Maybe that's not what's the best anymore. But, like, I think we would get there a lot faster if people just tried shit. Do you know what happened in the Area Cup after the patch? There was, like, a fucking double Neo Splash team from Melon that flexed a fucking custom Bowser dually, and they fought this, like, double, triple bubble team. And in scrims, there's, like, QR bamboozlers running around and shit. Is most of that good? Probably not. It's very unoptimal. But the point is, like, okay, patch happened, things are different. Why don't we try shit in this tournament and see what happens? Why don't we experiment with what we think might be good next? And that does not happen here. Just Izumi, thank you so much for the tier 1. I appreciate it. So for me, it's like, right now I think the scene is just the worst of both worlds, where we have groups that are not technically teams, but only play with the same people anyway, and we're all using the same comps anyway because no one wants to experiment, and so everyone doesn't make any form of progress until one of the groups realizes that they can actually do something different, and then steamrolls a fucking tournament with it. And obviously I'm, like, grossly oversimplifying it. There is a lot more to this discussion than that. But, like, when I look at the discussion about, like, pickups and stuff and what I think about it, that's why I feel it's so polarizing right now. And, like, on the one hand, I think the pickup stuff is good. I think that it's nice that people are playing with more people. I think it's good that pickups are doing better. And I think, on average, more players are, like, having chances in tournaments because there are still more mixing between the different groups. But I think if long-term, players want to have a team that's going to dominate the Western scene, it's going to involve branching out a little bit more and playing with other people and seeing who has the potential to be the best. Because the one thing that's for certain right now, for any of these groups, is that no one is turning into a team right now. And I think whoever can turn into a good team soonest and figure it out soonest is going to have a big advantage. That, or it's up to, like, the teams that are close to it, like Moonlight, to get there. Like, it's up to them to close the gap first. And I think one of them is gonna happen. But I don't know what. And I don't know who will do it. But that's my thought on it right now. And to be fair, I think part of this is, like, while the meta is a point people don't understand, like, the West is so... Our scene is so bad at figuring out the meta. We do not do shit to figure it out. We just kind of run our usual shit until people gradually realize what's good, and then everyone starts running the new thing. What about mid-level? I'm not honestly familiar with levels lower down much. I don't know if there's a lack of teams or anything there, so I don't know what's going on that way. I think there's a discussion to be had about, like, plus servers and players moving up different skill levels, and, like, how that process works, but I'm not familiar with that. Like, I know, usually the judge on a low level seems to be low ink. You, like, do well enough to get low ink banned, and then you're in mid-level. But I don't know what the gap between, like, mid and high level is. It doesn't seem as established. I know there's, like, SAC that IPL runs, but that's about it. So I'm not sure. Few teams at plus 2 level that can prove they take their track mechanics and grind, yeah. I don't know. What I have normally seen from, like, mid and high level is there's a lot of very mechanically good players, but a lack of, like, understanding of how to play the game to use those mechanics, if that makes sense. Like, I've seen so many +2 players over the years that are, like, really good players, but I don't, like, see much from them. They're just, like, these really mechanical players that, like, nothing seems to happen with. And I'm not sure why that process doesn't go the way it is, because, like, I'm not a part of it. So I don't know what goes on. Yeah, it's understanding. And, like, getting how to play the game and how to make things work is just very important. I think some people have it right, to be fair. Like, I've played against, what is it? Like, Captain Happy's pickup? Or team? I don't know if they're a team or not. I played against them in a few tournaments with, like, pickups. I've been on, like, frontline stuff against them. And their playstyle does remind me a little bit of Metro. Like, I see a bit of that very passive, sharking, playing around specials gameplay into explode, run at them with, like, a Zuka and kill everyone. Like, it's that same kind of, it feels impossible to punish them and then they run it down. Just, like, at a lower level. But I see the similar ideas there. But, like, I don't know if that's understood, or if that's what they're working towards, or how they plan to evolve it, or whatever. So, you can kind of see that a little bit. But the ideas aren't fully fleshed out. The difference is, like, when you have a team like Metro, they fully understand how to play the fucking game. They fully understand what to do. They know exactly what they're playing for, and they play it to a T. Because they have a bunch of players that individually understand their job, and then they mechanically as a team know how to play with each other. But I don't know. I think the other thing to point out, like, I talked about how I think pickups would be better if people played with, like, you know, upcoming players a bit more, if those groups mixed. I think that something to keep in mind here is, like, there is improvement with the sense of making the level of the scene as a whole higher, and there's the idea of just improving your own skill level. And, like, to some extent, if you don't give a shit about upcoming players, and you just want to win, you don't... There's no one forcing you to invest into those players or to look for them. I think the value of that comes from eventually making a team that could be more consistent and better, etc., etc. But I don't even know if people are, like, ready for that yet. Like, the people in, like, FT1 or Starburst or whatever might just not see enough players for them to make a team anyway, even if some did work out. I don't know. Like, FT1 right now, I'd have no idea if Bursty's gonna actively play if they found a fourth. Which means they might need 2 people. Who knows what roles? Or maybe they don't even want to do FT1. I have no idea. But, in my opinion, like, I think I tend to lean into, I want to see the scene's skill level as a whole get better. I care about that a lot. That matters to me. And I think if the scene's skill level needs to get better, there needs to be more players intermixing from different groups. And, like, players should still have to earn that, obviously, but, like, if you see a player doing really good in a tournament, then, like, I feel like that's worth giving some kind of shot. But, I don't know. That's just my thought. I am admittedly more focused on... I am already coaching an established team, and I want them to get better. So it's not, you know, it's not my priority. My priority is advancing at the team level. Which, the good news is, I think Moonlight's onto the right ideas. I think the things I have been pushing for comp and playstyle-wise have been good. And in fact, I think it's a big reason why we were able to, like... I think we held our own against Metro a lot better today. Just, like, I think our playstyle and our comp and how we were playing was doing better into them. I think we had the better idea. But I think there was a lot of poorly executed individual plays. I think that that set was very winnable if, like, we didn't feed as much on Umami and played more passive, or did Pen there. And then, like, Maki was another where we had a lot of We had a lot of advantages on Maki for a stable hold that I don't think the team really realized. Like, how good of a position we had. And I think that was, like, kind of a continual problem for us. Was, like, just not realizing the position we were in. And then I also think the comps could have been a bit better. I think there were some places we should have had Pen, and I think, like... And this is my fault, I pushed against it. But I think Neo Splash was probably something we should have ran. And I pushed heavily against Neo Splash. Because I didn't think it was going to work. But in contrast, I think it does, and I think I get why I had that wrong before. That's for zones. TC Clam's no shot was the correct answer, so we were right half the time. But, you know, that's stuff for us to work on. The good news is I think Moonlight found the right ideas, and now we have to, like, we have to execute them. Still don't believe in Neo Splash. Okay. So, the short-range stuff has more pains, but think of, like, how do you close the gap consistently? And then the other thing is you need special output. Because, like, your short-range weapons actually need a go button. They're not like mid-lines. They can't force things as easily. So my thought was, okay, these short-range comps have enough pain. Just get stuff like Zuka that's going to get kills. But I think the correct line of thought is, these short-range weapons need a way to get in. What short-range weapon is going to get them in the most? And the answer to that is Neo Splash. Neo Splash will get way more strikes than Splattershot will get bazookas. And even if Bazooka will get more kills, who cares? You just need go buttons. You just need to set up your bubble into the enemy base or a crab. And, like, Neo Splash is going to let that happen more often. And so that's why I think, like, yeah, okay. Maybe we were wrong and Shadow on Neo Splash would have been better the whole time. But, like, that's the thing. That's why I'm happy with the tournament. Because now I feel confident that Neo Splash is better. There's other ideas I want to, like, go with for Moonlight, but the most helpful thing I got out of this tournament is that I do believe we were on the right track. I think the ideas and the style of play we were doing were correct. I think we were on the right track. And it's just like a refinement and execution thing that we need to do better. And that's kind of what I'm hoping we can figure out. Am I the only one who tries to have good gear builds but feels the fashion isn't great? No. I swear, it's so hard to match, like, all three pieces of gear in this game. It's always just slightly off. Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing about today, though, like, the stuff I was talking about earlier. Like, remember how I mentioned the comp stuff? It took until we were, like, 0-3 to Metro to where we saw, like, an adaptation from Gru that really seemed to, like, work against their comp, which was, like, 52, Zimmy. I think they had 52, Zimmy, Bucket, Pen. That was the first comp I saw that, like, I was even skeptical of it at first. I saw it and I was like, really? I'm not sure this is the right idea. And then I watched it and I'm like, wait, no, this is the right idea. This is now figuring out a solution. But unfortunately, like, by then, it was just way too late. They were down so many games that it was just, they had no time to fully adapt to that. But they did start to figure it out, it just happened too late. That's the advantage I think Moonlight had, where I think Moonlight's idea into Metro was better. But now I'm just curious, like, is that the trend we're going to see? Are we going to see more teams try to emulate Metro? And where do we go from there? But that's all my thoughts on, like, the 20XX stuff and the meta development. I'll try to explain the styles of comp better when I have my main channel video out next week. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but schedules changed, things got pushed back. Yo, Cephalorock, thank you for the massive raid. Welcome. Also, I find it so funny that the 3 most relevant specials that aren't cooler in this game are literally all S1 specials. Like, we have the Bubble Strike Zuka Triad. I feel like that was almost the goal with how much they buffed Bubble. Can't say I'm a fan, though. But at least Crab has a place now. And Caster. I got hit by screen. Where is it? 40 minutes in. I died of the curling? I got like screen curling combo. Do you think Crab will be back in S4? I think if it were up to me, if I could determine one thing for Splatoon 4, if I could, like, lock it in... Oh my god, I did nothing. What the fuck? I would lock in Crab, Zip, and Jetpack. I would, like, secure them as specials that would never leave the Splatoon franchise. If you did a special tier list right now... Fuck it, let's do that. Y'all want a special tier list? Okay. Let's, like, throw this shit up here. This is all down here. Okay. Wait. Triple splash down on screen. Okay. Let's, like... There. Okay. This is Stamper. This is Stamper. Okay, very rough, but something like this. Something like this is what I'm looking at. And I think, like, let me... yeah, sure, ordered. Let's do. Here. Yeah. Okay, ordered. This is ordered. Is Kraken really that bad? I think Kraken is horrible right now. I see no redeeming qualities. It doesn't do anything against any of the good specials. Every good weapon right now runs fucking circles around it. Like, what do you do? I don't even understand what you're supposed to do with Kraken right now. I think it's terrible. But I think the game revolves around these. And these are like... You see this with like dive. These are your dive specials. But this one's also kind of dive. Everyone got ads? Unlucky. Surprise bubble B. This isn't B. This is what I gotta do. There. This is not formal. This is me just throwing shit on here. This is not like a lot of thought or anything. This is how I rank things. X zip stamper. If that makes sense. There's lots of Kraken and 20XX. It was just Nolan and like occasionally CRB from Gray. But like look at the variant of Range Blaster that Gray picks 99% of the time. It's this one. Kraken is shit. I think its best use case is recall for teammates to jump to. But you have this! This shits on Kraken's recall. Absolutely demolishes it. This is that, but 50 times better. You get to jump further in. It's a unique point. It's harder to deal with. And it comes with a 3000 HP dome. Buy jetpack below missiles. The specifics don't really matter that much. This isn't like a direct comparison. Yeah, and Bubble's just not a player. This is like a 5th jump point as well. Like, Kraken is your 4th jump point. This is just an extra jump. I now have to worry about the 4 guys on the field and a beacon in a 3000 HP barrier. Like, it's perfect. You could just leave a bubble for recall points. It's so easy. So, like, this is where I think things are. I think everything... Here, let me put it this way. Good, decent, shit. Does that make sense? Maybe stamp and shit too. I don't know. I don't know which end stamp goes into. I'll put it here. Stamp can go in the gap. Because I don't know. Stamp is counterpick. Gap 2 / counterpick. You pick stamp into very specific weapons only. I think the short range trend might shit on stamp as well, but it's still better than this. I think wave is okay. If anything, I think wave is better right now. Wave actually does okay damage to bubble. It deals with the dualies that are being picked more often. I think wave is okay. Like, it doesn't do a whole lot, but it's fine. And I think its scouting abilities are more relevant against short range, because all the short range options are hiding. In fact, if they buffed wave, I think it would be very good into the types of comps we're seeing right now, because there's so much sharking from all the short range weapons. Because think about it. What's the best special at locating people in the game? What's the best way you can locate someone with the special? Say you want to like move in and figure out where people are. What special is best at that right now? Is it the one made to locate people? Fuck no, it's this one. And then second place is this one. And then it's the special made to do that. But still, like, there's no competition. That's my point. You can't have these very often, so this is actually kind of accessible. You can run this with, like, Seawell. You can have it with range. You can have it with VDS. So, like, you can actually see this special. Way more than these two, because this is rapid or 52. And this is also why 52 is probably better now, because, like, guess what? 52 is the best option for this in comps. Very easy to run 52. It's like, it's very accessible. But this, like, this list is early. We haven't figured shit out yet enough. Also, I'm surprised nobody brought up Slider here. Do you guys get why Slider's here? Like, why Slider is suddenly up from, like, down here over here? Do we know why? Because there's one very simple answer. Damage radius buff? No, nothing to do with that. That buff did not matter. Run over bubble. There you go. That's it. This. If 2 of these are present, you pick this. That's it. That's literally it. It's just this. It's good in a bubble. That's it. That's it. I wouldn't even say it's a bubble counter. It's just a special that works into it. Like, this works into it, this works into it, this doesn't. This is okay. This is okay. This works, but you can't pick it. Doesn't work, doesn't work, works, doesn't work, doesn't work, doesn't work. Is okay. Works. Doesn't work, doesn't work. Yes, I know Kraken can go into bubble. I'm saying it's not worth it. This thing will waste half its duration breaking a bubble, and by the time it's done, the other 4 players will go kill your team in a 4v3. Or you could ignore the bubble with this, and then the bubble gets value and wins anyway. There's no winning for Kraken. You have to, like, find a kill immediately. Or something like that. It's just not worth the effort. Also, this is, like, 50 times harder than this. Like, it's so hard to kill people with Kraken right now. Everyone's so fast. Everyone is a short-range, hyper-mobile gun, running swim speed up, and QSJing instantly with Tacticooler. Like, good luck. And if they're not doing that, they're hiding. Good luck finding them. You don't have tools for that. Like, your best bet for Kraken is to play with a point sensor weapon. Which means you're picking, like, Nautilus. Like, what? You're gonna do not CRB? Or not 96 Deco? It's doomed. This just doesn't have help. I think Kraken is, like, legitimately terrible right now. Where do you see the meta shifting to? I think that midline comps are going to need double cooler to be able to keep up. I think the future of midline is 2x cooler. I think the JP comp we saw with like Slosher, Stamper, double cooler, I think that's exactly what you have to do. I think you have to supplement the midlines to make them fast enough to keep up with the short range stuff. I think that dive is going to get better and better and better. I think dualies are only looking better. Roller is looking better. Decav is looking better. Stamper's looking better. Tetra's looking fucking amazing right now. And nobody's picking it. Like, someone needs to pick up Tetra. It's so good right now, but there's, like, no Tetra. I think Tetra's looking amazing right now. And then I think the short range stuff is the best comp. And it's not even because I think the short range stuff is the best comp. I think it's the easiest. I think running 52 Splash Pen is so much easier than picking anything else right now. So, like, even if the dive stuff is theoretically better, who gives a shit? It's so much easier to play the other thing. You gotta have a God Dually player, a God Stamper player, a God Rapid player, and a Zap, which is gonna be harder than picking any other short-range shooter. So, like, who wants to have all 4 players have a harder video game to win? I just don't think most people are gonna do it. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Anyway, I hope this ramble was somewhat helpful and informative. It's always tough to talk about the meta right now when, like, things are shifting. But I'm hoping this, like, oh yeah, I guess to bring this up. Second cooler is here. Cooler is here, second cooler is here. This is the second one. They need to add 2 coolers to this. It's funny how I made a tier maker with 2 coolers by accident. And now it's like actually really helpful to have 2 coolers. Here, I'll say cooler. Cooler 1. Here, cooler 1. And then this goes here. I guess we could do that. If we want to be fully accurate. There. Yeah, there we go. That's cooler number 2 in a double cooler comp. Alright. Well, I hope this was helpful. This was a very long ramble. But, yeah. Who do I want to raid right now? I'm gonna raid Dip 528. They do salmon run stuff. So go say hi. That's gonna be it for me. Alright, bye everyone. See y'all later. Thanks for watching.